Hey, I'm Zach from MediaElective.com, and this is step 2 of step 2 in Photoshop. So if you've been following along, then you have your white text here in the background, and you have your black text also in the background. You got your black and white face, and your gray total actual background. Okay. So let's move on. We need to mask. Now, the thing is, anytime that you're working with design stuff, especially when you're just kind of trying to experiment with it and you're not really sure what you're wanting to do, you always want to work non-destructively, which is actually a really good term just to remember and always think of, like, I want to be non-destructive in my work. So never do everything you can to not delete pixels. So in that case, obviously this is our black face and this is our black font. So I'm going to move these up just below, just below the black face, but it's over the white. Okay? So the first thing we want to do is get a mask on the actual face. So select the black layer, go down here to your little mask option, click on it, add a mask. Now, again, if you don't know how masks work, that's totally fine. It's basically contrast. The computer reads black and white pixels. But to learn more about that, you can go and watch the basic tutorials on Photoshop. Once you get your brush tool, you can type the letter B for a shortcut. Now, here's a really cool shortcut that maybe not a lot of people use. I don't know. You can obviously use the left and right bracket to size up your brush, but if you hold on the Mac, if you hold Control and Option and then click inside of your artwork, you'll see this red thing come up. That is showing the hardness and the softness of your brush. If you go up and down while you're holding, and then if you go left and right, that does the size. So if you want to kind of see, like, in real time how your brush is going to be affecting your work, that's a really cool way to do it. Once you get your hardness, then kind of use the left and right bracket to get, the size that you want. In this case, I want actually a pretty big size because I want a soft transition. So now that we have that, we want to make sure our mask is selected. We want to make sure that we're painting black because black is going to be see-through when translating for the computer. So I'm going to now start painting. So you'll start to see the face just kind of like disappear. It's okay. It's all right. So now what we want to do is we actually want to group the black text as well. So select it all, Command G to group it, and we're going to call this black text or B text. Make sure that the group of the black text is selected, and then the layer right above that, which is the black parts of the face, on the layer, on the image in the layer, hold Command or Control, and then click, and it actually selects all of that area. Now, what's really great about that is that, let's say you're painting, it's actually going to paint. It's only effective within that selection, which is awesome. And in this case, we're only going to select the area of the text. So have that group selected, go down to the mask, click the mask, and you'll notice that all of the black text is now masked within that face. Now, here's what I mean when I say we're working non-destructively. This thing is a mask, meaning I can get my brush tool. Let's say we totally messed up on that. You can hit the letter X to switch to white, and you can actually paint all that text back in without any issues. So doing that allows you a lot more flexibility. In fact, you can also move the text around within that mask. So non-destructive is your best friend. Now, we're actually going to do exactly the same thing for the white part of the face. So add a mask, get your brush tool, make sure you're brushing with black, and right around where the text kind of begins. Now again, because it's a mask, I kind of painted a little bit too far in my opinion, so I'm going to hit X, size down my brush, and kind of fix this blend because we want the text to kind of blend into the face. And of course, we're going to go to the white picture and hold Command, select it. It's now selected. So in your layers, make sure you have the white text selected and then click Mask. Voila! You now have your face kind of transitioning or transforming, if you will, into text. Now, here's the cool thing. You can actually modify this a little bit, which I did in the original. So down here, the part where the beard is kind of just like disappearing completely. You may not like that. You may want that to actually be showing a little bit. So in that case, select your mask, get your brush tool, and make sure you're painting with white because you're trying to bring back some of the original image. But we're going to bring the opacity of the brush down. So we're going to bring it down to like, I don't know, 45%. And now we just simply, no, that was too much. Undo. Let's bring it down to like 20%. How about 18%? And now paint back into that the beard area. And now you have a little bit more continuity within the actual image itself. It kind of helps frame it up for you. And of course, you can paint one more time if you want it a little bit darker, or if you want it to be a little bit more faded in some areas, and you know, if you want like a sweet stash. So anyway, you have some flexibilities here. The last part, since I'm getting totally distracted, go and get your type tool one more time. Make sure you have the thickest that you can have, which is Mission Gothic Black. And we're actually going to give ourselves the overall title, which in this case is Transform. Now, as you can see, I'm typing on white with white text, and it's not easy to see. So we're going to take that, we're going to size it up, and we're going to get our move tool. And you can kind of see that text bleeding in there. But here's what we need to do. We actually need to, because we do want it to be kind of hidden in there a little bit, but you still got to read it. So go down to your effects with that layer selected and grab a drop shadow. Let's move this over. Take a look. We're going to bring the opacity down just a little bit because that seems to make it a little bit more natural. Bring the size up a little bit like that. Distance, maybe just a tiny bit. Let's bring the size up a little bit more. Ooh. Right about there, and we're going to bring the opacity down some more because again, we want this shadow to be very subtle. Hit OK, and you get your title. There you go. So this is if you want to call this the logo, this is kind of the logo. This is the foundation of all the rest of the artwork. We finally have our kind of final image, and from here we're going to make like the sermon slides and the video slide and the title slide and the everything else for the worship guide, everything. So that actually is going to be part 3 of part 2. In the next video, we're going to talk about the kind of modifying this logo to fit different mediums. So check it out.